So I have a number machine that takes every number I put into it and triples that number and then adds another 4 units. Write an equation that compares the input x to the output y. So if I take my input x, I am going to triple it, and I'm going to be adding another 4 units, and that will give me my output, which is y. Okay, so if y equals 3x plus 4, what is y if x is 3? So I plug in an input of 3 in for x, and I will have 3 times 3 plus 4, which is 9 plus 4, which is 13. So if I plug in my input of 3, I get an output of 13. You try it with x equals -2. So in this case, an input of -2 for my x actually gives me an output of -2 as well. Okay, moving on to number 3. For y equals 3x plus 4, same function that we had before, when the input is 3, what is the output? Hey, Mr. Blodgett, you can't trick me. That's the same question. You're just asking it in a different way. So the answer is going to be 13 again. And same for this next one. The input is -2. I already know the output is also -2. Okay, so now I have a new machine that takes every number I put into it and squares that number. What is the equation for that machine if x is the input and y is the output? I get the equation y equals to x squared. All right, so go ahead and answer 6, 7, and 8, and then check your answers with mine. Okay, so you probably realized that all we basically did is take that number and squared it to get our y to our output, and we get 9 and 4 in all of those questions. So in mathematics, we call these number machines functions. If we're talking about a single machine, we often call it function f. F is for function, of course. Oh, what is happening here? Darn it. Okay, got it working again. All right, so we call these machines functions. If we're talking about a single machine, we often call it function f. F is for function, of course, but we can use any letter we want. We don't have to just call it f. We can sometimes call it g, we can call it h, we can call it anything we want. We don't have to start with f, we can use any letters. So we can write it, f of x equals 3x plus 4. All right, that's how we say this one out loud. F of x equals 3x plus 4. Those parentheses are not multiplication. It does not mean I'm multiplying anything. So in math, most of the time, parentheses mean multiplication, but in this case, it's not. This is saying a function of x. I'm multiplying a value f with a value x. It does not mean that. It means they have a function machine that takes the input x and spits out the value of 3x plus 4. In other words, a more efficient way of writing the same question for number 2 or number 3 and 4 is if f of x equals 3x plus 4, find f of 3. And here's how I want you to do that. All right. We're basically right below, I'm going to try to line everything up. Right below the f of x, I'm going to be trying to find f of 3. I already know f of x equals 3x plus 4, and I replaced the 3 in for the x. And I'm going to do the same thing on the right-hand side. I have 3, and I'm going to plug a 3 in for the x and add 4 to it. All right, and that gives me, so over here, it still says f of 3. That left-hand side never changes. Don't try to multiply f times 3. It's f of 3. That's what we're trying to find. So then we have 3 times 3, which is 9, plus 4. All right, so now we have f of 3 is equal to 13. Now I'm going to do one more. I know, once again, I start off with the function that I know. I know that f of x is equal to 3x plus 4. This time I'm asked to find f of -2. All right, I don't know what f of -2 is. I know what f of x is, though. And f of -2, I've substitute the -2 in for x. I'm going to substitute the -2 in for x on the right-hand side as well. The left-hand side, once again, never changes. We're trying to find f of -2. Don't try to simplify the left-hand side ever. That's what we're trying to find. 3 times -2 is -6 plus 4. And so my final answer now, f of -2 equals to -6 plus 4, which is -2. Okay? So this is like basically a new language, but we're learning the same thing that we just had up in the upper part of the page here. All right, see if you guys can do the next one with the g of x. See if you can use that new language to find g of 3 and g of negative 2. All right, so there's the answers to that one. See if you can now go ahead and do number 11 on your own. Go ahead and find those 4 pieces of information. All right, go ahead and take a look at those answers. See if they match up with what you've done. Once again, remember that I have put in here that f of 2 stays f of 2 all the way down, and so does the g of 5, and so does the f of minus 1. I never want to simplify that left-hand side. That's what I'm trying to find, g of 0, f of minus 1. Why would I change that when I find the other side? I've found out what f of minus 1 is. That's what my goal is. So now I'm going to connect these two function machines. So at first put the number into the g of x machine, and I'm going to take the output from that one and put it into the f of x machine. And if you look at an A here, this is how I write that. You always want to do the inside part first, so I'm going to find g of 2 in here, and then I'm going to find f of that answer. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to go ahead and write this now. F of g of 2, I'm basically finding f of g of 2 in this case here. I'm finding f of g of 2, which is f of 2 squared. Oops, 2 squared. All right, like this. So I'm finding f of 4. How do I find f of 4? I'm going to now take 3 times 4 plus 4. So f of 4 equals 3 times 4. Oops. I'm going to do 3 times 4, which is 12, plus 4. I'm now finding f of 4 equals to 16. So what did I do? I found f of g of 2. I found the g of 2 first, which is 4. And then I'm finding f of that output from the other one. So f of 4. I'm plugging that in, and I find 16. So I just found that f of g of 2 is equal to 16. Let's try one more here. Now I'm going to find f of g of minus 1. Okay, this time I'm going to go find the g of minus 1. So I'm going to find f of g of minus 1 is minus 1 squared. All right, and so I'm actually finding minus 1 squared is 1, so I'm finding f of 1. How do I find f of 1? I now take 3, it's 3x plus 4 again, 3 times 1 plus 4. So I'm going to get f of 1 equals to 3 plus 4, or f of 1 equals to 7. So once again, my final answer is I've been told to find f of g of minus 1. Then I should write that down. I found f of g of minus 1 is equal to 7. All right, go ahead and try C. So there's my answer. F of g of 0 equals to 4. Go ahead and try 13, 14, and 15. Always remember that you're doing the inside part first and then finding the outside part of that output that you get for that. All right, take a look at those answers. Once you've figured those out, go ahead and try number 16 and see if you can get the right answer for that one. This time we're finding g of f of g of minus 1. Remember to start off with the one on the inside first, then finding f of that one, and then finding g of that answer. All right, so there is finding g of f of g of minus 1. We get the answer of 49.